Hey guys, it's Lauren. Just going over the project design overview for my potential project for the kindergarteners that I teach. So the name of the project would be Let's Make Chicago Better. Now I know that this is really broad, but the entire purpose of it would really be to hone in on things that the students see as problematic in Chicago, specifically around the area that we go to school in. And kind of come up with different ways that we could potentially make Chicago better based on the problems that we see. So, this would typically take place in ELA. It's going to be a lot of that reading, that writing, participation in conversations and discussions. So it's going to hit a lot of the standards that are based off of speech, that are based off of listening and hearing. And then it also is going to be cross curricular with social studies and with science as it incorporates, reasons why trash might be bad on the streets, for example, or ways that we can help in social studies by reaching out to community helpers. So basically, as we go through this, there are quite a few different standards that I would want to hit. Specifically in reading, it's going to be the informational categories of the standards versus the literature based ones. And before I continue, this duration would be 1 month with that big overarching Let's Make Chicago Better. But then within that month, there would be at least one per week of specific focuses based on what the students have said that they are interested in learning about or interested in doing to make Chicago a better place. The other part of those standards, along with just the informational areas, would be guidance with digital tools. So that's tapping into that 21st century learning, participation in research and writing projects, and then also collaboration with diverse partners in large and small groups. So most of this would take place within our classrooms. We also have a pod where we could stretch this out to have big group discussions as a whole pod, big group discussions, or even like switching classes based on what they specifically wanted to learn about. So those 21st century skills that we're really working to hit are the critical thinking and problem solving, as well as the collaboration pieces. Basically, that project summary that we're going forward with is that we're going to discuss problems that we see around Chicago. And we're going to be asking, what can we as children in Chicago do to make our city better? So as we're going into this, I want the students to be thinking of ideas, formulating a list over those first couple of days, and then collaborating to narrow the list down and make things more specific. From those different categories that they come up with, this would be a time where we would choose, okay, this week we're going to focus on like picking up garbage and really making a more specific targeted focus there so that when it comes to the like how can we questions, then we have a more specific focus and it's more relative to what the students are seeing around their school. And with that entry event, we're going to just be taking a walk around the school premise and begin to think of things that could be problematic. So like as the teacher, being more as a guide and facilitator, like recognizing that there might be garbage on the ground, that there's playground equipment broken, like what are we doing with the things that should be recycled in our classrooms? What about like the leftover food that we have in our cafeterias, and going through and talking about why these things might be problematic. I think that the area, so I feel pretty solid about the project summary. I think that overall I'm excited. I feel like I'm on target with kind of where we're going to start this, the standards that I'm really focused on hitting, as well as the driving questions that I want to continue to ask the students. And so I guess where I'm starting to feel a little bit confused or need some additional thoughts would be with the products as the first part. So, the students could definitely make individual pages in a book per week that are discussing, here's the problem and this is how I can fix it. And they could make their own individual books that would last throughout the month. And that might be a really cool take home / project that they would have in order to either present to parents, present to the principal. If we're saying, well, around school, these are things that we need to do to make this better. And then the thing that I'm really looking for some help on is the team aspect of it. So with 5-year-olds, it's really challenging to coordinate them for even a game of Duck, Duck, Goose, let alone a listening, speaking, collaboration project. So any kind of insight would be really awesome there. With the making the project or the making products public, having like the classmates discussion, having community workers come in, and I think that that would be something that where garbage men could come in, or people that were responsible for recycling or composting. We could have community workers come in and have conversations and help us to do those kinds of things. So in regard to those resources, I think that that would be a really cool targeted area to focus on in regard to the social studies aspect in the community. And then I guess the reflection methods, I would like a little bit more of an idea about how I could do this again with the 5-year-olds. And so I think that like with the small group discussions led by the teacher, that would be fine. Whole group discussions. And I'm thinking that the journal or the learning log could be correlated with that independent book that they are making. So any ideas on this would be super appreciated. I'll look forward to collaborating with you guys as we go through this. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.